Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Just wanted to go live here real quick. Rob Demovsky threw a tweet out, little update on our boy Micah Parsons. Now, listen, he popped up on the injury report yesterday, I believe it was, and it was just I don't know, it didn't seem very serious. I wanted to dive into it a little bit and talk about how important it's going to be for Micah Parsons to play in this game. You guys know he's got a history with the Philadelphia Eagles and obviously playing with the Dallas Cowboys and being able to get to Jalen Hurts and whatnot. So it's going to be huge whether or not he's playing in this game Monday night. We'll give you the latest what Matt LaFleur had to say about Micah Parsons and that injury. We'll also give you a little bit more of an update on Savion Williams, Dontavion Wicks, show you some practice footage, that type of thing. So before we do, if you guys would do that YouTube stuff for us, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us part of your afternoon. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. If you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live like this in the future. Let's jump into it, man. Rob Demovsky threw a tweet out just a few minutes ago. Matt LaFleur said the pec injury that Micah Parsons was listed with came out of the game. That's better than if it had happened at practice yesterday. So obviously Micah Parsons, what he referring to here, popped up on the injury report. I believe it was yesterday. Yeah, with the pectoral injury, he was limited. Many people were like, okay, did that happen during the game? Did that happen at practice? Obviously, like Rob Demovsky said, if it had happened at practice, you'd be a little more concerned because you don't really know, okay, or you get, how serious is it? Did he leave practice early and they just listed him as limited and whatnot? So it sounds like it's something that happened in the game there against Carolina. So I would imagine this isn't that big of a deal, right? Obviously, like I said, if it had happened in practice, you'd be a little more concerned about it. But the fact that they let him go out there in practice and perform makes me feel a little bit better about this situation. Although we know how these things go, man. You never know. You may look up in a day or two and Micah's, did not participate, right? And now we're sitting here talking about, okay, are they just resting? Getting an extra day of rest before the game on Monday night? Is it something that's more serious than they're leading on? But again, just wanted to point out, Rob Demovsky tweeted out, Matt LaFleur said the pec injury that Micah Parsons was listed with came out of the game. That's better than if it happened yesterday in practice. Now, we got a little bit of footage of Micah in practice. You guys tell me in the comments, are you concerned about Micah? As we see this clip that Rob Demovsky also tweeted out with the pectoral injury, practicing again today, was limited yesterday. So that first rep was like, oh, man, they don't have him doing much at all, do they? And then you watch on the second rep. Let's give it a look here. It might have just been a little early jump there. I don't know. He looks good to me. The thing about Micah, too, that I'm noticing, is it just me, guys, or is he looking a little thicker in Green Bay? Maybe those cheese curds are getting to him, right? But I like the fact that it looks like he's put on a little bit of weight. We know he's a speed rusher. I know he's got some extra stuff on here. It's going to be a chilly day out there at practice in Green Bay. But I like the fact that it looks like he's thickened up a little bit. And obviously that would lean towards, all right, you don't want him to be as much of a hybrid pass rusher as you do a solid defensive end. However, I think he's held up well against the run. And I love the fact that they're using him on those Joker 1 out of the 3-3-5 look. I also like that last week. Listen, we look at that game with Carolina and you think, oh, man, that sucks, the outcome, 16-13. The defense played pretty darn good. Had a red zone takeaway. And I love that they put Micah Parsons at mock backer and Quay at left edge opposite of Rashawn Gary to really mix and match some of those matchups that they're going to have moving forward. So, again, I think Micah looks good here personally. You guys let me know in the comments. Do you think he's looking okay to you guys? Do you think he'll be good to go there on Monday night? And then, obviously, on the year, man, Micah's having a hell of a year no matter which website you look at, right? Because some people like PFF, some people like NFL Pro. You guys know I try to dabble between the two and watch the tape. When you look at the edge position across PFF, the entire league, Micah Parsons is grading out as the second best edge defender, only behind Myles Garrett. Now, Myles Garrett coming in at a 92.2, Micah Parsons a 92.0. You see the run defense grade of Myles Garrett, 86.7, right? I mean, it's hard to get much better than that. out of the defensive edge position, especially when you got a 92.6 pass rush grade, which that's the same pass rush grade that Micah Parsons has, a 92.6. However, run defense grade 70.2. Again, when we went out and traded for Micah Parsons, many people are like, well, he's not a good run defender. He's not a good run defender. It's not that he isn't a good run defender. That's just not the strength of his game. However, 70.2 on the season for a run defense grade, and his tackle grade of 80.3 is a very, very, very sticky tackler, is the way I like to describe it. Compare him to Aiden Hutchinson here, guys. 91.8 for Aiden Hutchinson, run defense grade only 66, tackle grade for Aiden Hutchinson 30.1 with a pass rush grade of 92.7. Now, some people look at that and not think twice about it. It tells me Aiden Hutchinson probably rushing a little more out of control than Micah Parsons. I also think Micah Parsons is way more twitched up than Aiden Hutchinson. However, Micah Parsons does not have the bull rush power that Aiden Hutchinson has. Again, when you're comparing players like Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson, Will Anderson, some of these top edge defenders, some play with power, some play with speed. Micah definitely plays with speed. Aiden Hutchinson definitely plays with power. Myles Garrett is a freak. Myles Garrett is a really good run defender, and you see it all over the tape. He can meet run fits. He can take on double teams, all that in the run game. Micah can take them on as well, but Myles Garrett, man, there's just something about him being able to move horizontally across the defensive line while occupying a double team and really taking away two gaps at times at the edge position is really, really, really impressive. So, again, Micah Parsons off to a great start here according to PFF. Now, let's cross-check it over here with the NFL Pro data. All right. So when we go to pressures on NFL Pro and we're doing all defenders, so the guys that are leading the league in pressures, keep in mind NFL Pro with quarterback pressures, well, the way they do this is they use GPS tracking. It's basically distance away from the quarterback. Once they get within a certain range of the quarterback, they consider that a pressure. I personally like that better than some nameless, faceless person at PFF. They won't allow us to know who it is and what their credentials are and how much they know about the game, how long they've been studying the game. Them just going, that's a pressure, that isn't. I love the fact that they use GPS tracking at NFL Pro to gather this. But nonetheless, leading the league in quarterback pressures, this is every position, guys. Nick Bonito at 51 quarterback pressures with a 23% pressure rate. Second is Aiden Hutchinson with 46 pressures and a 16.4% quarterback pressure rate. And then Micah Parsons is third with 44 pressures and an 18% quarterback pressure percentage. Now, this is worth mentioning here. Notice how many games Nick Bonito has played to get that 51 quarterback pressures. They've got him listed at 10 games played. Hutchinson, 8. Micah Parsons, 8. Okay, so he's played 2 more games than those guys. I would imagine that Micah Parsons would easily pass him up in quarterback pressures if he had played those 10 games as well. Again, that's what's listed here, showing they got 8 starts. But the other thing I want to point out, Detroit Lion fans will see that quarterback pressures from Aiden Hutchinson and say he's got 46 to Micah Parsons 44. He's having a better season. Notice the snaps, guys. Aiden Hutchinson has 440 snaps. Micah Parsons has 366. You got Nick Bonito actually has less snaps than Aiden Hutchinson when you look at it from that perspective. So again, Micah Parsons definitely, having a little more success in terms of how many pressures per snaps or per on a snap basis there, right? And when you go to pass rush snaps, which I believe is right here, pass rushes all together. So not just pass rush snaps, but snaps in which they actually rush the quarterback. It may be a passing play, but he's dropping into coverage or what have you, right? So Micah Parsons, 244 pass rushes. Aiden Hutchinson, only 281. So Micah Parsons has, I don't know, what is that? I don't even know the number, roughly 30 plus less snaps than Aiden Hutchinson in terms of pass rushes. And then Nick Bonito with only 222. So obviously Nick Bonito, better pass quarterback pressure rate, like we talked about at 23% than both Aiden Hutchinson and Micah Parsons. However, Micah Parsons definitely off to a better start than Hutchinson, in my opinion. Also, Hutchinson has 7 sacks. Micah Parsons has 6.5 at this point. But again, with those extra snaps, you definitely think that the sack rate is going to be significantly higher for Micah Parsons as opposed to Aiden Hutchinson. So again, just wanted to kind of dabble into these numbers. That's why it's so important for our boy Micah Parsons to be on the field for the Green Bay Packers come Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's jump over to the offensive side of the ball real quick. And Rob Demoski put another video out here earlier today. Savion Williams, remember, he did not practice yesterday with a foot injury. He is back today. He's practicing here today. So he looks pretty darn good, in my opinion. They showed another clip of him jumping for a pass. He looks okay to me. Again, I think he was limited today, but the only did not participate today were Nate Hobbs, cornerback with the knee. Obviously, I think it's a sprained MCL, probably going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks, I would imagine. I think they said it was a grade 1 sprain. And then you got Lucas Van Ness with the foot injury, did not practice again. I think it's safe to say he will not be playing Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. And then here's another clip of the of some of the receivers. And I think this is actually of Dontavion Wicks. This was Bill Huber that put this clip out. Shout out to him over on X. Savion Williams is back. Lucas Van Ness, Nate Hobbs are not practicing. Here's Wicks going for a second consecutive day. So Dontavion Wicks ramping up, looking like he may be good to go Monday night, which is great news for the Packers. So listen, it sucks. You lose Tucker Kraft, right? You're going to be down your best tight end target, no doubt about it, but you're getting Dontavion Wicks back. Christian Watson is really starting to ramp up. He's had 2 really good games since he returned from his ACL. I like the way we're trending. I feel like it's a best case scenario, given the fact that we're having to go on without Tucker Kraft, right? It would really suck if Wicks wasn't healthy, and Christian Watson looks like he needs a little time to get a little more acclimated to this season. It looks like those guys are good to go, right? Romeo Doubs having a pretty solid year. Matthew Golden, we've shown you all over the tape, him drawing double and triple coverage that last game that opened up that 30-yard dig to Romeo Doubs. I'm not concerned with Matthew Golden at all. His catch rate is in the 70, I think it was like 76% or 73% according to NFL Pro, actually higher than Romeo Doubs. I think it leads the team in catch rate outside of Christian Watson, who obviously has just got 2 games worth of reps. So I'm not concerned with Matthew Golden at all. His time's going to come. I'm just a little more concerned schematically. What are we going to press into? You know, their pass defense is a little rough. The run defense has been a little suspect as well at Philly, although we know any given week that could change. We seen last week, we have one of the best run defenses in the league. Last week, we struggled to stop the run against Carolina. So we know that's a week-to-week situation there as well. And so again, Dontavion Wicks seems to be ramping up really, really nice. Savion Williams trending in the right direction. Micah Parsons, would not be concerned with him in terms of that pec. I think he's going to be good to go. As a matter of fact, you know what I would like to see, guys? I'd like to see them. You know, obviously they practiced him today. I'd like to see tomorrow sit him, right? We got one more practice, sit him. Just sit Micah Parsons out. Don't even, let him rest completely up. He knows how to rush the quarterback. He knows what proper technique is, right? And as somebody pointed out in the chat just a second ago, maybe that's why he didn't have any pressures last week, Micah. Maybe that pec, maybe he hurt that pec early in the game, and that might be why he wasn't as effective, right? So that could be the case there as well. And again, we talked about Tucker Kraft being out. Here is his replacement, Luke Musgrave. I was going back and watching some of the Musgrave tape in 2023 before he got hurt. Guys, this was tied in 1 before Tucker Kraft got his opportunity because Luke Musgrave got hurt. And I remember, I wasn't like extremely down on Musgrave or anything. I definitely wasn't as high on Musgrave as I was Tucker Kraft. But like Jacob Morley pointed out on Twitter, and we talked about on the show like 3 or 4 nights ago. I love the fact we talked about on the show, and it was like the next day Jacob tweeted about it. So it's like, okay, we're seeing the same thing. That's awesome. That's good news. What I was going to get at is when you see Tucker Kraft, when you watch the tape, if you truly watch the tape of Tucker Kraft, he's not creating separation. His separation numbers are high according to NFL Pro and GPS tracking because he's got a lot of separation between him and the closest defender to him when he's running routes. Has nothing to do with him in a one-on-one situation doing anything special to create separation. Matt LaFleur scheming him open, right? Musgrave can do what Tucker Kraft has done to this point in 2024 before the ball's in his hands. It's after the ball's in his hands is where Tucker Kraft is special. I don't expect Luke Musgrave to pick up those tough yak yards the way that Tucker Kraft does, but I do expect Musgrave to be just as open as Tucker Kraft and catch the ball just as well as Tucker Kraft. So again, it's like you're losing a third of what Tucker Kraft's game is by Musgrave playing until he proves otherwise. He may go out there and run through some guys' faces. I just don't see him that way. I see him as more of a receiving tight end as opposed to a blocking inline tight end, catch the ball short and get yak. But it may open something up in the deep shot game if we start to throw down the field to Musgrave. You see him bobble this pass here a little bit. People are going, oh, no, Clayton, I don't like that clip. But again, out there getting on the same page with Jordan Love. And you can see the wind kind of whipping around a little bit with the plastic tarps that are up over the practice field in the background. So we'll see how everything goes there, man. I'm excited to see what happens on Monday night. I know some of you guys and gals were in here with us earlier. We covered kind of the playoff scenario, right? We talked about, we kind of walked through and talked about how this is going to be a really, really tight playoff window, playoff run, if you will, in the NFC North. The best chance of getting to the playoffs is win the North. And then obviously there's some other scenarios of getting in with a wild card berth, but go out there and take care of business. But we're going to find out Monday night what this Packer team's made of. We're going to find out what this coaching staff's made of. I want to see a competitive game. I would love to see a dub, but you guys know I've been very vocal from the get-go. I kind of felt like this was going to be a loss, right, against the Eagles. Reigning, defending Super Bowl champs. I know they're coming into Lambeau. I just felt like they were a more veteran team. We got the youngest roster in the league. I still had to give them the slight edge. But keep in mind, I had the Packers beating the Panthers. I had the Packers beating the Browns. I had them losing to the Commanders week 2, I believe, and we won that game. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. So I'm excited to see how everything unfolds. You guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Are you concerned about Micah Parsons? How do you feel about this matchup Monday night against the Eagles and any of the other injuries we talked about? Make sure you hit subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future, like tonight, 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Me and the guys are going to get together, and we're going to start to dive in a little bit deeper into this Philly matchup on Monday night. We're going to start to unveil little pieces of the game plan. We may have a little game tape in there, too, from the Philadelphia Eagles this year. I just went back and watched them beat the Giants 2 weeks ago. Much different than the first matchup with the Giants earlier in the year, where the Giants beat them pretty handily. And again, what you've seen in that game, what I came away with, guys, I didn't come away with that game going, oh, man, the Eagles are playing really, really good football. I've seen the Giants giving the ball away. I've seen the Giants making mental mistakes as a young football team and a rookie quarterback in Jackson Dart. The closer we get to the game, I'm feeling a little bit better about it. The point spread is starting to sway in the opposite direction. Right? I talked about before, I was feeling good about the Packers because when that initial line dropped, 90% of the money in the gambling community was on the Eagles to win. That's typically a good sign, in my opinion, when that many people are going against Vegas. So that line now is starting to get down to 1.5 points that the Packers are favorites. By the time the game gets here, it may end up being an even push or a half a point game. We'll see how that all unfolds. Let us know in the comments what you think. We'll see you guys tonight at 6 p.m. Central. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
Here we go.
We're out.
Bye, guys.